All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Texas Motor Speedway for the final round of the 2021 Season 2 Flux IndyCar Championship here on Flux TV. I am your host, Carlin Hicks, and we are looking forward to a spectacular season finale here on the Flux American Tour. We are at the 1.5 mile Texas Motor Speedway Oval. In tonight's Indy cars, we are going to see some 220 mile per hour wing to tail action. Just glad to have you with us. As I said, Carlin Hicks here with you, wrapping up a long and competitive season in the Flux IndyCar Championship. It's the final race for Flux Motorsport 2021 Season 2 overall. As I'm going to get myself here on the monitor. But what a spectacular season it has been. We're going to give you a review of it, as always, a 20-minute qualifying session before our 45-minute featured event. And we're going to give you a little rundown through the season, hopefully a little look forward to next season. We've got 12 cars in the field at the start, a good starting field here. And let's take a look here. First, on your screen, that is the points leader, the guy looking to clinch his first Flux IndyCar Championship in the number 63 Susan B. Komen race for the Cure Honda. That is Taijo, the driver from the Philippines, and he's sitting in a very unique position. He's got a 26-point lead coming into the race tonight, meaning that a 9th place finish or better will clinch him the championship regardless of what anybody else does. But he's done it on consistency. He has 3 podiums on the season, 1 fastest lap, but no race wins. He's still looking to pick up that first career Flux IndyCar Championship win, and he's done it with consistency all season long. He's been very, very solid, particularly adept on the road courses. He is more of a road course racer than an oval track racer. He'll be the first one to tell you, but he comes out here tonight in that Honda. Just needs a 9th place to clinch it away. I would say just needs to be careful, be smart, and the IndyCar title is his. However, you never know what can happen. You have some motor trouble, DNF, and that'll throw everything wide open to the guys chasing him. And that brings us back to the 2nd place driver in the hydroxy cut, number 15 Chevrolet, I believe, and that is the American driver, It's Your Boy Squash, who just took the early top of the chart. Squash was your winner earlier this season in the season opener, took the victory in the opener on the high banks of the Daytona International Speedway. He's also got 2 pole positions and another 3rd place finish, giving him 2 podiums. He's had a fine season, but Squash has had some inconsistency issues. Came off the win at Daytona and failed to get in the top 5 at Willow Springs a week later. He's been a little up and down this season, but he is an excellent speedway racer, and we look forward to him. He has a shot, as I said. If Taijo has any problems, he's racing basically head-to-head with the driver in 3rd place, and that is Mick Toasty in the NTT Data Chevrolet out of the Ganassi stable, as he loses it right there in turn 2. We've got caution on the track, debris landing on the track early here in qualifying as Mick Toasty gets it back in the pit lane. Mick Toasty coming into tonight's race 3rd in the points, just a point behind Squash for 2nd place in the championship, and 27 points back of Taijo. He's had a fine season. 2 wins, 3 podiums overall, 2 pole positions, and 2 fastest laps for Mick Toasty. His 2 wins, if I recall correctly, coming at Long Beach, and I believe it was last week at Laguna Seca. He is the winner from last week. It was a tremendous duel with Bruce Law, and ultimately got his 2nd win. So Mick Toasty picking up his first 2 career wins in the series this season. As I said, looking in very good shape to at least finish on the season podium. But if Taijo has any problems, he needs to be right there, racing basically head-to-head with Squash, and we'll see what he can do. Matosti is an excellent all-rounder, an American driver, knows how to put the pedal to the metal, as they say, and we'll see what he can do. Looking back at 4th place in the championship, that's the Doom number 7 Honda of Survivor. Survivor 4th in the championship. Does not have a podium this season, surprisingly, but he's managed to move up to 4th place due to consistent finishing. He's been a consistent top 5 driver all season long, and he comes in here really racing head-to-head with Cat Guy. Cat Guy is in 5th place in the championship, and sitting on 118 points, and we've got an interesting story there. Cat Guy, of course, the defending Flux IndyCar championship. He took 4 wins last season on his way to the championship, including this event in which he comes in as the reigning champion. However, Cat Guy this season really hasn't had the season he has wanted. He does have 2 podium finishes, has not been back in victory lane. He has had a lot of wrecked race cars this season. And I know he just wants to finish out the season here. He's looking, obviously he's fighting head-to-head for 4th place in the championship with Survivor. He wants to get back into victory lane, wants to get that 5th career win, which is the all-time high in Flux IndyCar competition. Just wants to finish out the season strong. Did not expect to have an entry here today, but was able to get a package put together for the final race, and he just wants to get in victory lane, finish out strong. 6th place in the championship in the 22 Menards Chevrolet out of the Penske stables is the Aussie driver Muttley. Muttley comes in, got to be looking pretty confident. Got his first podium of his Flux IndyCar career at Watkins Glen a couple of weeks back. Muttley comes in sitting on that podium with 105 points. Right behind him in 7th, Bruce Law, a 2-time race winner this season, really the road course specialist and the part-time driver. He is not in the field tonight, and that brings us back to the 8th place driver, who is only 6 points behind Muttley. And that, my friends, is Haynes' dad, the rookie driver. Might be my choice here. I think he is the highest rookie driver in points this season, and in my opinion basically has the unofficial Flux IndyCar Rookie of the Year locked up. A lot of that coming in off of his first podium finish, which was the victory at Willow Springs. He had a fantastic run in round 2 at Willow Springs. He has followed it up, I believe it was last week at Laguna Seca that he got on the podium for his 2nd podium. So a win, 2 podiums overall in his first season. Hasn't been consistent enough to really challenge for the championship or the season podium, but looking to get one final strong run here today out of 8th. 9th place is the guy we don't like to call, but we do call Hard Luck Mark in the number 21 Preferred Dallara Chevrolet. Mark C has had what's looked like a couple of good runs brewing at times this season, still looking for that first podium, as he has had a lot of wrecked race cars himself. Let's see what he can do here in the final round, I should say, at Texas. 10th place, a long-time IndyCar veteran in the number 2 Verizon Chevrolet. That's the Dutchman, the Flying Dutchman, SCN Remy, former winner of the Indianapolis 500 in our former sanctioning body. He is a definite IndyCar contender here on the Texas Motor Speedway Oval. Very experienced. We look for him to be a definite contender. Oh, taking a look, that's the top 10 in points now. Still 11 minutes left in qualifying. And really just looking at what should be a terrific championship. Let's get in the cockpit. The guy currently on top in qualifying, back out after a fresh run. That is It's Your Boy Squash. As I said, picked up his first career Flux IndyCar win at Daytona in the season opener. Really thought he was going to be a championship contender this season. Hasn't had the consistency, but he is fast, and we'll let him take you around here the Texas Motor Speedway Oval for a few laps of a track walk as he comes onto the backstretch here. Stitching it up into fifth gear as he's now getting the draft, pushing 230 miles an hour as you're coming through turn 4. Right there, the car getting very loose in the dirty air, and that might be the toughest. There are two tough spots on the track. Really got to look for. We passed it right there in turn 4. Let's see what we see here. Right there in turn 2, right in the middle, there is a big bump. And for a minute there, you saw Taijo also catching that bump. Those are going to catch you. And then here in turn 4, it wants to push you to the wall. If you overcorrect coming through, the car will get loose. So the car will be very tight coming out in the entry to turn 4. It'll get very loose if you overcorrect it. I almost guarantee you we're going to see someone spin the car out in turn 4. Basically, as you're coming into 4, if you start getting understeer right here towards that wall, you have to feather the throttle or drag the brake slightly. You have to lose momentum. It's the only way that you can do it and guarantee that the car is going to stay underneath you, because if you just try to steer out of that back end comes around, especially if you have a very low downforce setup, which everybody does on a speedway, and that is where you can definitely see the problems popping up. All right, right there, cracked piston. Another rookie driver has been making the at-large starts this season on the American Tour. He raced here last night in the American Sports Car Championship, and he is back out there, currently second on the qualifying rostrum. 23.160 in the multicolored Chevrolet. Cracked piston, an Australian driver, I believe. Aussie drivers, very, very popular IndyCar racing is over there, and we have long had them racing here on the Flux American Tour, going back even to the previous sanctioning bodies. Cracked piston right now, he's in the 25 Chevrolet, and he is moving up down into the 22s, trying to get what would be his first career pole, as he looks like he's pulling it down onto the pit lane as well. Going to get some new tires and try to put some service out. Mark C up to 4th, and it looks like he's in the middle of an accident right there. Mark C and Cat Guy getting together there here in qualifying. Right now, Mark's sitting in 4th, so looking very, very solid himself. Get some more guys out on the track, and we will talk about them. Also happy to see CDN Trooper. He is running in the number 9 Target car that is run by Bruce Law on the road courses. We haven't seen him all season. The 2021 Season 1 Flux American Sports Car Champion making a start here in the Indy cars, and we're happy to have him. Thus far, not really having put a time up as of yet, but Target making sure their brand represented in the Flux IndyCar Championship with Bruce Law not running on the speedway. They've got the Canadian driver in that ride. Let's get some time here on the track. S2N Remy, as I talked about, new to Flux Motorsport, but a long-time veteran of the predecessors to the Flux American Tour. Lot of experience in the IndyCar, winner of multiple races, former winner of an Indianapolis 500. We call Remy the Flying Dutchman, the closest thing. He's run on the American Tour and its predecessor for such a long time that we call him an honorary Yank driver at this point. He's got more experience on the American tracks and in the North American style cars than he really does in the European style cars. And Remy, as I said, always a contender on the ovals, and don't mind the times there, because as we said, there is no push to pass on the oval tracks, as you'll see on the road courses. However, they do have the full turbo boost in qualifying, so they've got 75 more horsepower right now than they will in race trim. So that's number one. And number two, it's all about the draft. It's all about how you use the dirty air. And if I can get a pair of cars here running together in qualifying, somebody there on the backstretch perhaps, let's see who that is. Yeah, we'll go with them. Maybe chase cam. Yeah, let's go with the chase cam as Muttley is in the wake of somebody. You're going to start feeling the air from the cars in front of you right about there. I mean, when you're 10, 15 car lengths back, you're easily picking up some of that draft. And the key right here is that as you're picking that draft up, is to think about what these cars are. We talk about it every week. I give you guys the rundown. They're identical Dallara chassis with the choice of a Chevy or a Honda engine. When you look at really the car, whether it's in the aero kit for the road courses or the ovals, but particularly in the low downforce oval kit, what you've got is a monocoque with an aero kit on top. When you've got a car in front of you and a car behind you, and you've got them taking the airflow off of both wings, then you're basically driving around in a bathtub. So the big thing you got to watch out for here, especially when you see Muttley coming through trying to find his gearing, is if you catch somebody's air right about where he is a little bit closer coming into turn 4 there, you'll feel like the car has got the grip, it's got the bite going down, but when you go to make the turn, if you catch the air mid-corner, the disturbed air, or what you'll hear us Americans call the dirty air, and for our Flux European viewers, some of the cues that you'll hear me calling out: pushes, understeer, loose as oversteer, dirty air's dealing with the slipstreaming. You know, the draft is a slipstreaming, dirty air's dealing with it. You want to try to deal with that air. The best way to do it, really the best way to do it, is to maintain it, be square to the cars in front and behind you. Don't be halfway between the car widths, because that's when you've got air going on to one side of your wing, no air on the other. It really becomes all about how you work that draft, and it's a skill in and of itself. It's a separate style of motorsport. IndyCar is my favorite form of motorsport, simply because these guys that have competed all season here in the Flux IndyCar Championship, they have competed on every form of track. They've been on 3 different types of ovals, as you see Cat Guy going around there. They've been on 3 different types of ovals. You know, the 2.5-mile high bank super speedway of Daytona, the 2.5-mile flat virtual road course, 4-turn road course of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and now on the 1.5-mile super speedway here at Texas. They've run on street circuits like Long Beach, high-speed road courses like natural terrain road courses like Road America and Willow Springs, technical circuits like Laguna Seca, and of course last Watkins Glen. It's such a varied championship. These guys that are in it have had to fight. As you see Haynes' dad losing it right there. Haynes' dad, another one of our Aussie drivers, just on a quick count of our 12-car field. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4. Oh, I see 4 Aussies in the field. 1 Philippines represented. We've got a Dutchman. And of course a number of Americans and a Canadian. As we are down to the last couple minutes here of qualifying, I'm going to take a quick audio check here, as it looks like it's your boy Squash at the moment holding on to the top spot. We'll be right back with you on Flux TV. All right, back with you, winding down qualification here. At the moment, it's your boy Squash sitting on the pole. That is not a terrible surprise. What is a bit of a surprise is the rookie driver, Cracked Piston, currently sitting on the outside pole as we've got cars wrecking there. I think the big thing you'll see there is guys just climbing on each other. You want to give each other some space. The dirty air can be so upsetting in these cars that you don't want to be right on top of each other, but we're going to see hopefully not too many cautions. I know we're going to see some incidents here. Cars getting banged up, but as a driver who's run here many times, look forward to this race. All right, folks, here is your starting lineup for the 2021 Season 2 Flux Motorsport IndyCar Championship finale at Texas Motor Speedway. On the pole is It's Your Boy Squash. He puts up a blistering 22.820 in the Hydroxycut Chevrolet. He'll be flanked on the outside of the front row. A surprising qualification for the Aussie driver, Cracked Piston, in that multicolored 25 car. He will be starting second. Starting third, a great run for another oval specialist, Ed Yeager, in the Quiznos car, will be on the inside of row 2. He'll be flanked on the outside of row 2 by Mark C. in the Preferred Chevrolet. A great qualifying run for him. Starting fifth will be the Flying Dutchman, S2N Remy. He'll be flanked on the outside of row 3 by the championship leader, Taijo. Starting seventh, the defending IndyCar champion, OGR Cat Guy. He'll be flanked on the outside of row 4 by Haynes' dad from down in Australia. Starting ninth will be third place in the championship, McToasty. He'll be flanked on the outside by the Aussie veteran, Muttley, in the 22 Menards car. Survivor will have that Doom Honda on the inside of row 6, and starting on the outside of row 6, shotgun on the field, will be CDN Trooper in his at-large ride in the Target Chevrolet. All right, folks, we are ready and prepared to go. These guys making final repairs, final adjustments for 45 minutes. Looking probably at around, depending on the number of cautions, in and around 100 laps, 150 miles. So pit stops are going to be key. Absolutely key here. As always, you can look up on the map. The blue dot is the car that I am focused, the camera's focused on. The white cars are on the same lap. Red cars a lap down, blue cars a lap up. But we look forward to it. 12 cars in the field. Final race of the Flux IndyCar Championship for 2021 Season 2. Taijo needs 9th or better to clinch it outright. And at the moment, it's your boy Squash doing what he needs to do. He got the bonus point for the pole. Going to have to see if Cracked Piston, Mark C, Ed Yeager, some surprising names here up in the first couple of rows. The normal Speedway burners, guys like Cat Guy, S2N Remy, McToasty, a little farther back in the field. But this is Speedway racing. They are going to need to put it together all together. We've got shout outs from Jack Miller and Green Game, and we were looking forward to seeing you in this field, actually. Cheering on his teammate, obviously helped him get the car prepared. But they will have the turbo boost turned down, 75 less horsepower here in race trim, and it's really going to become about how you manage the traffic. I like to hang, or, if you can get out front and get out of the traffic, get out of the trouble, sure. We've got almost ideal conditions here. As we said, this race under the lights, 8 p.m. start time, so it is a night race. 91-degree ambient temperature, 107 on the track. That is very good conditions. It's a warm night, but the track temperature very solid, very good. And we are green at the Texas Motor Speedway. It's your boy Squash and Cracked Piston leading that front row. Ed Yeager trying to come up on the inside. A couple of cars near the back looking to sort themselves out. We're seeing Haynes' dad fall back, and it looks like It's Your Boy Squash is going to pull out. We're going to get onto our chase cam. Best way to follow this field. A little bit of a gap back there, but the top 7 very much in touch. You were riding on that drone footage with Cat Guy. He's looking to the inside of Remy and gets it done. Look at him go. Ooh, and he took off the wing. Cat Guy took off the wing. It looks like he made contact with Mark C, trying to make that aggressive move. And I think he's heading into the pit lane. Yes, he is. Cat Guy making an aggressive move. I don't know if the car in front of him was slowed down more than he expected, but he went sweeping across and took off that right front part of the wing. So just like that on the opening lap, Cat Guy going to have to come in and throw another wing on it. All right, so 7th and back has a bit of a gap. S2N Remy back in 6th, trying to get back up to that top 5, which has shot out in front of everyone. It's your boy Squash in 1st, Cracked Piston 2nd, Ed Yeager in 3rd, Taijo has moved up to 4th, and Mark C hanging on to 5th. Let's get on board here, the cockpit, with Mark C as he's trying to hang with the top 4 in front of him. He's only getting to 219 on his own. I don't believe he's hitting the right gearing just yet. He needs a drafting partner at this point, because here early on, car not there. Get on to the 2nd in line there. That's Cracked Piston. Cat Guy's back out. Looks like he's a couple of laps down, but a long way to go in this race. Top 4 getting a little bit of a breakaway here in the early going. It's tough to follow all the action here, I can tell you that. We'll try to do the best we can here. There's Remy back in 6th. That's where the gap really starts in the field. Back of the pack here, CDN Trooper and Hainsdad in 10th and 11th, trying to hook up and get themselves back. They're already running about half a lap down to the leaders. But with the wave around rules, the potential for full course cautions, there's definitely no doubt that you can see that this race can swing in a lot of different ways. Getting back on the drone cam here in the Quiznos car of Ed Yeager as the top 3 have pulled out a bit of a gap. It's your boy Squash still in 1st, Cracked Piston in 2nd, Ed Yeager in 3rd. Ed, another long-time American Tour veteran. He is definitely a speedway specialist and has a podium, I believe. Let me double check my statistics, but I do believe that he has a he was on the podium at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway this season, so he has some oval success. Let me take a look at it. Yes, he did. That is in fact the case. Ed Yeager, 3rd place finish at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in a race that was won by Dale the Whale. He came home in 3rd. So Ed Yeager, very much an experienced speedway racer, veteran American driver, and he's just trying to hang right now. He's keeping a little bit of a gap. You can see Cracked Piston running up the track. As these tires wear, you're going to start to see more problems with the dirty air, as these 3 cars are definitely going at it. We want to get trackside, as it looked like Cracked Piston has taken the lead. Can he take the lead across the line officially? And he does not. So It's Your Boy Squash has still officially led the first 11 laps, but these 3 up front, they are going at it. I said we anticipate somewhere around plus or minus around 150 miles, 100 laps or so, if we don't have too many delays. Plus or minus a few more, a few less. But strategy is going to be a big part of this, and these guys are already coming up on lap traffic. That might be Hainsdad and CDN Trooper they might be coming to right now. Take a look at Mark C and S2N Remy battling for fifth, but not really so much battling for fifth. With a veteran like Remy, he's telling Mark, let's just get in line and try to make up some ground. They're running in the 24.3s. They're running the pace of the leaders, and that's important right now, not losing any extra ground. And trying to move up on Taijo. At the moment, they are coming up on Taijo in the Susan B. Komen car in fourth place. So if that can form an extra little pack, they may have a chance to make a run. Ed Yeager now has fallen back a little ways. Let's take a look on the chase cam. Yeah, he's fallen back a couple of seconds now. Having to burp the throttle, has fallen back to third. And that leaves It's Your Boy Squash and Cracked Piston a little bit out front on their own. At the moment, they're dealing with the traffic, and that's given Ed Yeager a bit of an advantage here. He's put up almost a second now on Cracked Piston. But I don't think anybody's running away here at the Texas Motor Speedway. When the rest of the pack catches up, if they can start turning quicker laps, they will immediately move up on them. Thus far, no cautions through the first 18 laps now. Cracked Piston working with Cat Guy now. That would be his benefit right now. You got the defending series champion with you. Cracked Piston and Cat Guy just need to run together and try to put together the quickest laps that they can. It'll help. Because if Cat Guy can get a lap back the hard way on It's Your Boy Squash, that would benefit him, and it would also benefit Cracked Piston, obviously, to start turning laps here to catch up to It's Your Boy Squash. 24.2s, they're right there with him now, running the exact same lap time. So Cracked Piston holding in range of him. Got a big line of cars, 3 of them on the lead lap, 3 of them lap cars there, headed by Taijo, who, as we said, comes in as the driver looking for the championship. He's in a very unique position, looking to win the championship. He hasn't won a race, but a 9th place finish or better clinches the IndyCar championship. And right now, just cruising along in 4th. He's got Mark C right behind him, and it looks like Remy has lost it coming out of turn 2. Remy has lost it coming out of turn 2. As he slides to the inside, we see debris coming off of that car, and he has done some severe damage to that car. No doubt he has done some severe damage. That thing is crab walking off the wall. He can't steer it. He lost it coming out of turn 2, and that is super unfortunate for Remy, who was a definite contender here at Texas. Just lost that car coming out of turn 2. Went to the inside, and now he's going to have to crab walk it back in. He's doing more damage as that thing. He can't steer that thing. He's just trying to stay off the racing surface and get it to the pit lane and try to get some repairs done without losing too much time. But his chances of contending are really out here at Texas. Unfortunate for the Flying Dutchman. And it looks like Muttley's hit the pit lane, and with a missing front left wing, can tell you why right there. He needs to make some repairs as well, so he's going to go a couple of laps down. But as you know, everybody's got to make pit stops in this race, so a long way to go as Muttley and Remy, 2 veterans of the series, both coming on the pit lane to make repairs here in the early going. All right, Taijo and Mark C still fighting it at 4th. Ed Yeager running a bit solo back. He's trying to catch up to Cracked Piston right now, but it continues to be It's Your Boy Squash out front, pacing the field. He has opened up 3.2 seconds on the leaders. Let's get us some delta times here. Bottoming out at, topping at 225, 26. Bottoming out at 217 to 219. We'll see what that difference might be for cracked piston here. About the same coming through 2. He's got good speed thanks to the draft. Does he maintain that 218, 219 coming through the corner there? He does. I really think cracked piston has the car to compete with It's Your Boy Squash if he can put it together. Good chance to get on board with Cat Guide. Going to hand over his Flux IndyCar Championship crown here tonight. He is currently running, looks like about 3 laps down in 10th place. Just waiting to see if the race might come to him. I believe that's Ed Yeager and cracked piston in front of him, 2nd and 3rd place right there, trying to put something together to run down It's Your Boy Squash. You can see how quick that car closes when any type of momentum change, and a little bit of a wall scrape by cracked piston as Ed Yeager has passed him into 2nd place. Still no cautions, working lap 30, 33 minutes to go on the clock. Cat Guy just patiently waiting, needs some caution flags and some things to go his way here to get back into this race at this point. Ed Yeager in that Quiznos Chevrolet, who said a part-time driver, mainly a speedway specialist, had a spectacular run at Indianapolis, getting on the podium at the Brickyard, finishing 3rd. And right now, looking good. He qualified 3rd, currently running in 2nd. So the top 3, front 2 rows are still running within the top 5. And they're starting to turn laps quicker than It's Your Boy Squash. So we'll see if they can actually run him down here. Just trying to keep the car underneath them. At this point, you see some of the lap cars getting out of the way. At the moment, 6 cars still on the lead lap. Haynes' dad's fallen down to 7th, unfortunately for him, and he looks like he might be even as close to 2 laps down. See the end trooper in the mix there as well. Let's get some shuffling cameras here. Let us shuffle through the action as you're riding on board with cracked piston. As I said, the rookie driver, a part-timer, already's had a career day here. 2nd place qualifying, a new career best. And he's currently running in 3rd place. And so the question is, can he sustain this as we're nearing towards the 30 minutes to go mark, 36 laps in here at the Texas Motor Speedway. We have not had a caution flag yet. And I think that's the big question here is Ed Yeager and cracked piston, you know, can they sustain it? Can they keep it together as they're trying to run down It's Your Boy Squash at the top of the field? They're turning laps slightly faster than It's Your Boy Squash, and it looks like cracked piston hitting the pit lane here. Don't believe there's any damage, so this might just be a scheduled stop for service. It looks like it, as his fuel appears to be low. And cracked piston from 3rd place will come in for a scheduled pit stop. Really want to try to come in with a partner. He's coming down the pit lane slowly. Does he hit the marks? Appears that he does. Be fuel and tires from the number 25 team. Everybody getting low on fuel at this point, but Cracked Piston's the first one in. And did he pick up a penalty? Oh, he picked up a speeding penalty coming into the pit lane. Oh, that is going to be brutal. Now, it's possible that that can be protested, obviously, to Flux officials, but at the moment, a 50-second, that's a 2-lap penalty, in essence, that Cracked Piston is going to have hanging over his head for speeding into the pit lane. Don't know if it'll hold up, but for now, we have to treat it like it is, and at the moment, he's going to have to race with that hanging over his head. So tough luck for Cracked Piston, who is having a career run here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Give you the quick rundown. There's the top of the order. We've got It's Your Boy Squash still leading from the pole in the Hydroxycut car. He's got about 15 seconds on, or I'm sorry, 3.7 seconds on Ed Yeager, who qualified third and is now running in second. Coming up on some lap traffic of his own. He's coming up on Taijo, as a matter of fact, back in fifth. Mark C, 16. There's a big gap back now, 16.5 seconds back to Mark C. And with McToasty and Taijo about to go a lap down, that leaves 3 cars in the lead lap. And we have someone in the wall, and I believe that's Muttley. That's right, Muttley is backwards into the wall. And he's going to try to loop it back around. Just manages to miss whoever that was as he tried to get across. Make sure everybody got through okay. There's somebody else in the wall. And it's possible. Let me check the speedos here. Yes, we have our first caution flag of the day here at Texas Motor Speedway. Muttley obviously got clipped by whoever that was, and it looks like Muttley's car is being pulled into the garage, and he might be out here of the final race at Texas. Not sure who that was that he made contact with. Let's see if there's the dark colored car. Haynes' dad, I believe it was Haynes' dad. He's going into the pit lane here to make some repairs. He's lost both of his wings, so I believe it was Haynes' dad who clipped Muttley. Muttley is done for the day. He's our first DNF. And so here with 26.5 minutes to go, working lap 45, we have got our first caution flag of the day, a great green flag run from these guys. And we're going to see a number of cars taking a lap back under the caution. It's going to make it a whole new race. CDN Troopers also on pit lane here, as is McToasty. And so Muttley is done. Tried to get it back to the inside. Whipped it across and looks like just mistimed it. He caught Haynes' dad, who's now a number of cars making their way through the pit lane, and now I believe comes the line of cars making the scheduled pit stops. And anybody who obviously had not been in the pits already is going to make their service. There's your leader, It's Your Boy Squash. And it looks like, did he miss his box? He missed a box. It's Your Boy Squash missing the box. He doesn't know where his pit box is. So he's going to lose tons of track position here. And these are the kind of things we've talked about with Squash this season. He's very quick, but he's been inconsistent. That pit crew's made some mistakes, and he is definitely going to lose. He is definitely going to lose position on pit lane. Ed Yeager's already out. Mark C's out ahead of him. He doesn't lose as much as it appears like he could have lost. Looks like he could have taken that a lot worse than it was. And it looks like McToasty might have stayed out. And for the moment, after we see these wave arounds through, it looks like McToasty comes out in the lead. with Ed Yeager in second, Mark C in third, It's Your Boy Squash in fourth, and Taijo is in fifth. But we've still got to sort it out as there are a number of cars a lap down at this point. They're going to be taking the wave around. Looks like a bit of a delay here under the yellow, but McToasty does in fact come out. McToasty, we talked about earlier, coming in third in the championship, 2 wins on the season at Long Beach and last weekend at Laguna Seca in that fabulous duel with Bruce Law. As we are nearing the midway point here on the clock at the Texas Motor Speedway, cars up in front of the leader are going to go around, or they should be anyway, I believe. No, actually, they might have stayed out. Yeah, there they go, going around to take their wave around. They're going to come back around, and hopefully we could be going green next time by. A little bit of a delay as they sorted it out, but still working on getting the drivers familiarized with the speedway caution rules. We'll see how it sorts out here. At the moment, I could see where Taijo is. Taijo's still a lap down in the line. Don't believe he took a wave around. Not really certain. At the moment, we're just seeing 4 cars on the lead lap. That's McToasty, Ed Yeager, Mark C, and It's Your Boy Squash. So cross flags being given to the drivers here at the 22.5 minute mark. Caution slowing down the pace now at 47 laps through halfway. So we are going to be looking at about, depending on if there's more cautions, 90 to 100 laps. And I think they might be going green this time by. And they are, in fact, going green this time by. I'm going to leave the speedo up so I can follow when that is. 4 cars on the lead lap. Now 4 cars on the lead lap, 4 cars 1 lap down, 1 car 2 laps down. Still 11 drivers on the track. And on to our chase cam here with Mark C in 4th place, as he's got Cracked Piston coming to the inside of him. Cracked Piston has that penalty sitting on his head as well as the 1 lap down that he is now, but may not have that penalty hold up. Don't know quite yet. Don't know quite yet if that penalty's going to hold up. Somebody's in the wall, and I believe that's McToasty. McToasty from the lead is in the wall. He's lost the front wing. Let's take a look at the front of the field. They're slowing down, so I believe we have our second caution of the day. There's an old saying in American motorsports, cautions breed cautions, and that's exactly what we're seeing there. McToasty came out of the pit stop in the lead, and now he has got a severely damaged car. But what this is going to do, while it's going to mess up McToasty's race, there's 4 cars a lap down that are going to get to take the wave around and get right back on the lead lap. So this is going to be another big swing as McToasty gets that NTT Data Chevrolet in the pit lane as quickly as possible. He's hoping not to lose a lap. And it looks like right now they're fixing that thing, and he might be able to get out without losing a lap, depending on how long he's in there. We'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, Ed Yeager is your leader. It's Your Boy Squash in second. Mark C is in third. Those are the only cars on the lead lap. But there are a number of cars that are going to take a lap back, including 4 of them. Taijo, Cracked Piston, CDN Trooper, and OGR Cat Guy, who are all going to get back on the lead lap. And I believe, yes, they are lapping McToasty now as the leaders go by. He does lose a lap under the pit stop there, so tough luck for McToasty, although it is not done yet. We'll see who makes service coming down the pit lane here. Get onto the chase cam at the back of the pit lane and see who takes service and who doesn't. these guys a lap down appear to be taking service. It looks like they needed the service this time more so than the lap. So strategy obviously coming into play here as we're getting down inside of 19 minutes underneath our second caution flag. Cat Guy finally making his way out of the pits. Meanwhile, up front, it is Taijo, but he is, took the lap back. They're going to be shuffling. This is going to be shuffling back around. These are cars that have taken the wave around to get back on the lead lap. So I believe our leaders actually Ed Yeager, because the cars that took the wave around have to start at the back of the queue. And it might even be one more lap here until they go green. I believe so. I doubt they're going to be given the go-ahead here, as the wave around cars are still working their way towards the back. So a little bit of a delay here with our second caution. And I believe we are getting the 1 to go signal. As these cars sort out, we'll tell you who is where. It looks like we've got Ed Yeager in the lead. It's Your Boy Squash is in second. Mark C is in third. Taijo is in fourth. McToasty is in fifth, and those are all lead lap cars. So McToasty managed to get that car repaired and back out before he lost a lap, or passed them back as they were in the pit lane anyway. Those are the cars on the lead lap. 1 lap down, 6th place, Cracked Piston. 7th is Survivor. 8th is CDN Trooper. 9th is Cat Guy. At 2 laps down is Haynes' dad, and multiple laps down, unfortunately, is Remy. I think as good a place to start here as any is on the chase cam of the final car on the lead lap, and that's McToasty. He took a wave around, however, so I don't believe he is in the front of the queue. As a matter of fact, he is in the back of the queue in 5th place, so he is not in the best spot, but he's in a good spot to see what happens here on the restart as he's coming up. And we are going to be going green here with under 17 minutes to go. McToasty, the last car on the lead lap, but he's got a lot of lap traffic to get through here. Get on board with Cracked Piston. He's a lap down in 6th, but he's right there behind those front leaders. Ed Yeager's taking the lead. Mark C's in 2nd. It's Your Boy Squash in 3rd. Cracked Piston going to the inside. He wants to get that lap back the hard way. And look at these guys shuffling through each other. I think Cat Guy's got an excellent view from the cockpit. He is right on the tail of Survivor for 7th place among the lap down cars. Let's see what the veteran Cat Guy comes up with. Not far off the leader, wants to get back on the lead lap, but really needs a caution at this point more than anything. Hear the cars around him as he's pulling up here on the hydroxy cut car of It's Your Boy Squash, who appears to have lost. Is that Squash? Yeah, that's Squash, all right. He's lost some ground. He's losing a lot of ground here. Squash having some sort of problem here. He's falling back to 4th place. Losing some space in the line. He is right next to Taijo in 3rd now, battling for 3rd place. Taijo is by no means safe at this point. 9th place or better wins the championship, but he could still get enough damage at this point to have a long enough repair that he would fall back to 10th or worse. We had 12 starters, 11 still running. He is by no means in the clear right now for this championship, but you know he wants to win the race. And right now he is running in third place. He's got Squash not far behind, and they're trying to run down Mark C, who's having a career day so far. You really want to see Hard Luck Mark get a good finish with all the bad luck he's had. Take a look here. On board with our championship hopeful Taijo in the Susan B. Komen Honda. He's got Mark C in the front car in front of him. I believe that's Cat Guy. A lap down between them. Working lap 62, now 63, and they are trying to put in laps quick enough to catch Ed Yeager, who is running away from him right now. He's now 4 seconds out in front. Got 4 cars still just 1 lap down. They are desperate for a caution, but not to be the cause of it. Here comes Taijo. Has to take it to the grass there. Living dangerously for the championship contender. But he's going to regather it here. Back on board here, that's Mark C in second place. He is just behind Cat Guy, who's a lap down. They are trying to put together some laps. Let's see what they get here. 25-2. They are off the pace of Ed Yeager, and there might be your reason why. Ed Yeager has got cracked piston directly behind him, so he is picking up some draft here, and he's using that draft to pull away from the cars behind him. A 24-0. We'll see what kind of lap they pull this time by. 24-7. So Ed Yeager is pulling away from the field behind him with the help of cracked piston. Ed Yeager, as we said, a veteran of this form of racing from our former sanctioning bodies, but never a winner on the Flux Motorsport IndyCar Championship. He had a podium finish at Indianapolis, 3rd place earlier this season, but right now he is putting the hurt on the field, turning the fastest laps. He's got that Quiznos Chevrolet up to almost 8 seconds in front. Still 11:20 to go. Still a number of laps remaining. We'll see if they can put it together here behind him. A lot of these lap down cars fighting for position amongst themselves, but they really need the luck of a caution flag to get back into this race. Caution flag falling where a lot of them might have gotten a lap back, but they had to pit to put fuel in the car. So that's how these things go. Back on board with McToasty as he is trying to race It's Your Boy Squash for 4th place. They are now 13.5 seconds back, more than half a lap behind the leader at this point. See what kind of times they're getting. 25. Those cars are falling off. They've got a lot of fuel on board, obviously, to get to the finish, but they are just not running with the front runners at this point. I don't think, maybe they're not set up well to run together. They're not maximizing their speed. You're hearing a lot of burping of the throttle on the part of McToasty here. He's trying to get by him, though, for that 4th place. trying to line it up. Just does not quite have the muscle at this point to get it done. Both of these guys, as I said, winners in the series this season. Looking forward to seeing them back next season, no doubt. Going to take the chance here to remind you guys, as always, check us out at fluxmotorsport.com if you want to get involved and sign up there. You'll see yourself here on the Flux TV broadcast. Quick review of the season over on the European Tour. The 2021 Season 2 champions, the Flux Motorsport Touring Car champion was Linga Bazinga. The GT1 champion was Little God in a fantastic battle with Bruce Law down to the wire. And last night we saw the Flux American Sports Car Championship locked up by NZ Jack right here at Texas Motor Speedway. But tonight it's all about the IndyCars. NZ Jack not in this race, but Taijo running in third, looking to clinch that championship, and he is very much in a position to do so. There he is in the Susan B. Komen car, running in third place. And he is safely right now in a position to clinch that title, and would clinch it without winning a race, but would nonetheless be the champion. They are starting to close the lap times on Ed Yeager, but is there enough time? And it looks like cracked piston has hit the pit lane. Low on fuel or tire problems, I'm not sure, but where that's going to come in. This guy had a great run. He was qualified on the outside front row, a career best. We're going to have to see if that 50-second penalty holds up for him, because he has had, that is just a gut wrencher, because he has had the run of his life here in Flux Motorsport. So we got to give him much credit here. But out front, we'll get back to the battles, but out front, meanwhile, Ed Yeager, and he is coming up on another pack of cars. Now, this could do one of two things. Maybe he picks up a draft and is able to continue to build the lead, or he hits this pack of cars and he's going to be unable to get by them, and that might slow him up. He's working on a 12-second lead on Mark C. and Taijo at the moment. But as I said, Ed Yeager, a longtime veteran going back to the previous sanctioning bodies. Basically, I'll call it and say he's a longtime veteran of the Flux American Tour. Never a winner in the Flux IndyCar Championship. He is a definite speedway specialist. He qualified third in this race. And right now, he's running out front, but he is starting, as he starts to catch some of the traffic, he is starting to lose some time. But is there enough time? Just 6 minutes remaining. Somewhere in the region of, I'd say, about 15 laps maybe. Ed's definitely starting to fall off, but do they have enough time to catch him? Let's get back on board with Taijo, as he's behind Mark C. and Cat Guy, who's a lap down. And can they keep that going? CDN Trooper, meanwhile, as we check in with him, he's on the pit lane. Not sure if he got damage or not in the number 9 car, but not quite what he was hoping to see here tonight at the Texas Motor Speedway. Taijo keeping that momentum going as he swoops by Mark C, and there's contact a little bit. Contact there with somebody. I believe a little bump there between Mark C and Taijo. They're none worse for wear at the moment, but Taijo, meanwhile, as we get onto our drone cam, he's got that thing waving, and we've got cars around. But we are inside of 5 minutes to go. We are inside of 5 minutes, and I believe that is going to mean we are green to the finish. Who is that went around? Cat Guy is one of them. And is that Haynes' dad? No. Survivor, who is that other car? It is Cracked Piston. So Cracked Piston and Cat Guy coming together here, and the field not slowing down, because in the final 5 minutes of the race, it is green to the finish. There are about 15 seconds earlier, and this would have been the third caution flag, and we would have seen these guys bunch back up. But because it is inside the last 5, no more yellows, so Cracked Piston and Cat Guy both getting into it right there. And Cat Guy loses it coming through turn 4. He is having all sorts of problems here. Going to try to get this thing back into the pit lane as best he can while the field keeps going around. Do not want to do that. Meanwhile, up front, Ed Yeager, meanwhile, continues to lead, but his lead is falling. He's got a lapped car of S2N Remy not far behind him, maybe giving him some draft, but Taijo moved into second. Mark C's in third. Let's get on the drone cam here with Mark C. Looking for a career day for him. He qualified 4th, which is a great qualifying run for him, and now Hard Luck Mark might finally get that finish he deserves. Can him and Taijo move it in? They're running out of time here, but they finally are pulling faster laps. 24.1, that's 7/10 of a second that time. Let's look at where they're out on the track. You can see their arrow coming through turn 2. Ed Yeager, meanwhile, just going into 3. Do they have enough time? They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe they've got enough time. They're now within 5 seconds. As you see, Cat Guy still trying to limp that thing around. A hard luck day. It's been that type of season. 4 wins in a championship last season, and Cat Guy's going to finish this season without a race win. But that's racing, as they say. Just liking to see here what Mark C is looking at. Here in the cockpit, and they are definitely closing in on Ed Yeager here. McToasty up into 4th has put some of a gap on It's Your Boy Squash right now. That top 5, only cars on the lead lap, and we are inside of 2 minutes. They are still not as much time though, and I have to believe Ed Yeager's got some help now. Yes, he does, in fact. He's pulling on Remy. That lapped car of Remy is making the difference. It's giving him that extra bit of draft. We'll see what he does here. 24.0. That absolutely might be a lifesaver. As we've got another car out of the race, and I believe that is Cracked Piston. Cracked Piston pulled it in, and now his penalty is going to become a moot point, as Cracked Piston qualified on the outside of the front row, had a tremendous run going, but a bad luck in that late racing incident is going to take him out here at Texas. Inside of a minute. And Ed Yeager qualified 3rd. I don't know if he hangs on to this lead if he doesn't catch that draft from the lap car of Remy. Working lap 93 now, looking for his first career Flux IndyCar victory. And he's coming up on some lap traffic now and really just needs to take it easy. See where the clock is. He's going to be getting the white flag this time by. 1 more lap to go here at Texas Motor Speedway for Ed Yeager. He lost a second that time, but I don't believe there's enough time for Taijo and Mark C. If Ed can stay out of trouble, he is going to be able to hang on here and pick up his first career win in the Flux IndyCar Championship. What a way to close out the season, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Yeager is going to bring it home at Texas Motor Speedway. It looks like Taijo is going to hang on for 2nd place over Mark and clinch the championship, and Mark C finishes 3rd. Wow. A spectacular race here at the Texas Motor Speedway, but it's Ed Yeager in the number 4 Quiznos Chevrolet who comes home with the victory from the 3rd place qualifying spot, his first career Flux IndyCar win. And right behind him there on the track in the Susan G. Komen 63 car, Susan B. Komen, whatever, is Taijo. And now we've got your final results here at the Texas Motor Speedway for round 8, the 8th and final round of the 2021 Season 2 Flux IndyCar Championship. Your winner in the Quiznos car is Ed Yeager, his first career win in Flux competition and in Flux IndyCar competition. Congratulations to him. He's joined on the podium with a second place run for Ty Joe in the Susan B. Komen car, and Ty Joe clinches the Flux 2021 Season 2 IndyCar Championship with that performance. Big shout out. First time he's going to get sprayed with champagne. Mark Segan, the preferred Chevrolet, his first career Flux IndyCar podium. A spectacular run for him. And congratulations. McToasty brings home that car in 4th place. Final car on the lead lap. It's your boy Squash, your pole sitter. Going to take a hard luck finish, but a solid run of 5th. Running one lap down, Survivor locks up 4th place in the championship with a 6th place run. Haynes' dad comes home in 7th. CDN Troopers at large bid gives him an 8th place finish, several laps down. Remy comes home in 9th place, and Cat Guy taking all that, Cat Guy with all that damage comes home in 10th as Cracked Piston was DQ'd coming out of the pit lane. So that is going to wrap it up, not only for the Flux Motorsport IndyCar Championship, not only for the Flux American Tour, but for Flux Motorsport competition for 2021 Season 2. It's been a spectacular season. We want to congratulate all of our racers who participated, in particular our champions, our Flux Motorsport Touring Car champion Linga Bazinga, our Flux GT1 champion Lil God, our Flux American Sports Car champion NZ Jack, and of course our Flux IndyCar champion Ty Joe. Congratulations as well to Ed Yeager getting his first career win tonight, and we will look forward to seeing you next season in just about a month time. 2021 Season 3. The American Tour will be right back at the traditional opening round at Daytona. We'll look forward to seeing you back at the World Center of Speed. For Flux TV, this is Carlin Hicks. Good night, and we'll see you next season.